All right, so today, welcome. I hope everybody had a nice Merry Christmas. And today I wanted to talk about. Um, so I'm wearing my headset today, just because my kids are home and there's a little bit of commotion because my kids are going off on a retreat and things are a little bit hectic in the house. And so I wanted to wear my headset and put my mic on. All right, I'll put my headset on. So today, I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for some time. And I see this over and over again with people that I talk to on whether on Zoom and these are people that are building agencies or building um, high level agencies specifically, right? But it doesn't even have to be with high level, it could be just agency in general, right? And what I see more and more is that um, and the reason I'm talking about this today specifically is that it's not about better tools, better strategy, better courses. Um, and I had I had a talk with a recent agency owner, and he took a course a couple of months back, and then um, but from the time that I spoke to him and the time that I spoke to him just recently, he purchased another course, right? And they're not, it's not like a couple $100, it's like a couple $1,000. And I basically, you know, to be very transparent and just be just upfront with him and said, look, like, you know, if you haven't applied the course that you took before, why, are you switching gears? And so that's the topic today. That I think the people that are in this marketing agency, um, they're smart people, right? And hardworking people, right? And so um, I just have my notes here, and I'm just talking from my heart today. And I also recently had a conversation with one of my good friend, and he comes from the corporate background, and he felt like he puts in a lot of hard work and dedication to what he does. But at the end of the day, the company didn't uh, emotionally support, or, in some cases, you might be watching this and you don't feel financially rewarded for all the time and effort that you put into your work, right? And so it's not like you are smart, maybe you're not currently happy with what you're doing and you're curious and you're stuck with what the heck do I do, right? And so um, it's not that you haven't just make sure I I just thought of my chat. I gotta make sure I connect the chat. I'm using this new platform, OneStream, and I'm still learning how to operate this thing. All right. And so it's not like as I was saying, that you're not lazy. It's You're hardworking, right? But I think that it's a matter of overwhelm and overloaded with information, right? And so um, you might be thinking, like a lot of people, when they first start this agency, is that I need to learn uh, AI. I need to learn the business. I need to learn the right strategy. I need to take this course. And maybe you take a course and you realize it's not it doesn't work because you tried it and it doesn't work, and then you go try to find another course, and um, then you start spinning the wheels again, right? I need to find the right platform. I need to know this to make sure that I don't look like I don't look inexperienced at the end of the day, right? Because when you're starting to talk to people, you don't feel confident. You need to learn more to be able to say, okay, I know what I'm talking about, right? Most people are stuck because they're trying to remove all risk, they're trying to remove everything before they even start moving. And so, um, and it comes down to so most people that are in this agency space, they're builders. We're creators. And so we tend to go with what's comfortable with us, which is basically the technology or the tech. And so we go to building it before we even start talking to people, right? And so because you feel that you have the fear of like choosing the wrong uh the wrong tools or the wrong path, or you don't want to waste time, you don't want to look experienced, and so all this fear is preventing you from, and don't get me wrong, like let's not separate the fear part and um, what you most people that are here have I tend to generally see people with experience, like years of experience, and then, so it's not, excuse me, coming over a cold, and they're smart people, right? But overthinkers, right? Um, and if you've been in the corporate environment, right, there's that fear of making the wrong mistake or wrong move because um, of making, your peers, you're afraid of what your peers are going to say, or making, what other people that think that they know more, right? And they're gonna call you out, right? And so and I think what happens is that we go into this learning process, or our thought process is that we got to learn more to become better. And so I think that it makes it worse when you start learning and watching YouTube videos, or taking more courses, or learning more different strategies. I think it actually makes things worse. And the reason why is that every time that you learn something new, you're switching gears, right? And what happens is that when you switch gears, everything resets, right? And I look at it because I do local SEO, right? And so every time I see um, it happens over and over again, and I wish that I can change the people, but I can't change who they are, right? So every time they switch websites, or they reset something online, it basically resets everything they've done for the past year or a couple of years. If we take that into our own your business, right? Every time you switch gears and you learn something and you're trying to apply it, and you say that it doesn't work, then and then you go learn something else from another YouTube, then you're switching gears. And so I see this all the time as well. Is I try not to do this in my YouTube channel, but I see a lot of what do you call it? YouTube well, not influencers, but people that are creating YouTube videos. And I used to do this myself, and so it's not like I'm immune to it. Where you talk about something and then you talk about something else, um, and that's, talk about it, whether it's a different strategy. It's just the process of what they're going through, and um, so too many tools. Um, you're in essence making movements, and then you're switching gears, and then you go back down to zero, and then you're starting all over again. And so and then if there's too much going on, you have what's called decision paralysis. And that same also is applicable when using ChatGPT, or whether you're using AI, right? Because you can start inputting information into AI, and recently, as I shared, I started using ChatGPT in August of 2025, and so um, um, while it's great and it's helpful, you can go down a rabbit hole because you start. inputting and start utilizing it, and then you like, oh, get all this information, but then with all this information, you have to be cautious of no implementation, right? And that's now you can get into the rabbit hole of just trying to like talk to ChatGPT and not implement anything from the information that is given to you from ChatGPT, right? And so clarity doesn't come from um doesn't come from before action. So let me rephrase that. Okay, so um clarity will come from you taking action on the things, right? And so what I'm saying here is that I see a lot of people that are making wrong decisions, right? Whether it's taking more courses or building, um, building and continuously building without making real progress in their business. And the only way that you can make progress in your business at the very beginning stages, especially if you're in the beginning stages, is that starting does not mean building, automating, branding. Um, Starting means, the way I look at it, simplify it, is that, right? If you look at agencies, specifically agencies, you will get paid to solve problems. And what does that mean? In order for you to solve a problem, you need to go out and get people and find people that have a problem, right? A person that's like, really, you got to start talking to people, and then find a solution for that specific problem, right? And I think what happens is that when people when you start, let's just say, let's just say you land on a YouTube channel and you find this guy, like, whether it's me or whether it's somebody else, and it's like, that's a strategy. That's, oh wow, that's something that is working for him. I'm gonna copy that. I think the problem with that is that um, I believe that everybody comes with certain skill set and certain background, right? And so to try to copy and apply that in the way you do things, I think that's wrong, because it's not that it's wrong. It's like one person might be okay and enjoy like cold calling, or well, nobody likes cold calling, I think, in general, right? 90% of the population probably doesn't like cold calling. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about this one person in our sprint, all right? And she has a background in doing sales and going out and meeting people one on one. And she has that background. And so she's trying to do like email marketing, and for her to do email marketing and then apply that in her business is probably not the best use of her time currently to get her first 10 clients, right? Because she the best use of her time is probably to apply and take what she knows or what she's been doing in her past profession and apply it in her agency, right? And so to apply and take and make a blanket statement and apply a certain strategy to a certain person, I think is wrong. And so one of the things that I want to like really call out to affiliates, like I think one of the things that, when I say affiliates, what I mean by coaches or anybody that really gets paid for doing, like, let's just say you pay for coaching, and to try to apply a certain strategy and just dump it, I think that's just, in my opinion, wrong, because I think one of the first thing is you need to get to know that person and get to know, like, what there's no universal, I think, strategy that is going to work. You can make it work, right? But then you're just all about making money. right? And I think that to really help an individual uh, succeed in their business, right? An agency, you really got to know the person and really help them to get to know, what they're good at, and then put more fuel into that specific um, um, whatever skill set that person had, right? And um, so revenue, right? As I was going back, let me go back and talk about what so the lifeblood of when you first start an agency or when you start any business is revenue. You need to generate revenue. And the revenue does not come from building, does not come from automating, does not come from branding, which a lot of people will tend to focus on, right? It will come from clarity, from and what does that mean, clarity? The only way you could get clarity is going and talking to people, right? Um, and then creating a system to figure out how to talk to more people and then, continue that. And so and so I want to leave with you're not behind or you're just overwhelmed. So one of the things that this took me a while to figure out or to really implement is, you know, for for anybody to get really acclimated and activated into something, an agency, and I'm going to be doing this with some of my, uh, I guess whether you call them, my goal is to actually help. My goal this year is to help, you know, anywhere from 25 to 50. I haven't set the specific number agencies, and to help them generate revenue first couple of clients. And for them to do that is to set them up foundationally um, correct. I mean, set them up foundationally, give them the right expectation, give them the right, um, you know, uh, mindset. And so the way that I want to do that is to get them on what's called a 30-day. I would probably say 90 days is probably the better number, but 90 days sometimes seems like like a huge commitment. And so a 30-day, I call it a 30-day sprint, and that the 30 days is to kind of give them a lane to for them to speed up, right? Because if you have too many lanes, like, you don't know where to go, and you may end up spinning your wheels for a couple of months trying to figure out which lane to go. And then even if you go on one lane and then you decide, oh, this is the wrong lane, they don't have any feedback, and so they would go back and go pick another lane. And so that's basically what a lot of, I think, business uh, entrepreneurs that start out or agencies that start out. And so what I did was I created this community, right? This is not in any way a pitch, but like this is the community that I've created to create this. I call it Freedom Voyage, right? I call this voyage because I'm a Star Trek Trekkie, and uh, if you um, are interested, right, in in what I call the 30-day sprint, I do them. You have to enroll and basically submit your application, and to see how. That's my way of filtering people that are interested in building your agency. For those that are if you're a local business and this does not apply to local business. What I was doing before, I was trying to apply this Freedom Voyage to local businesses, and I realized, you know what, I can't have it overlap. And so because I help local businesses um, with their marketing, right, and I was trying to put this into both local business and agencies, and I realized that this 30-day sprint and this freedom voice can only be applicable to marketing agencies and agencies that want to build and help other local businesses, right? And so it that took me a while to figure out. I was trying to help both, but I can't do that within that one community. All right. So if this live resonated with you, you know, I'm constantly, so as I'm going through and creating these YouTube videos, my commitment is to generate not generate, but to actually push out one YouTube video that's going to be helpful for you. And then also to do these YouTube lives, I try to put them together. And so I'm constantly changing topics, not constantly, but readjusting as I go along to what I hear and what um, the people that are in the community, what they need help with, trying to adapt and trying to figure out how to best serve and how to best provide value. And so um, I will put the link to the Freedom Voyage community. It is free to join, and the 30-day sprint is also free to join. I For the past 2 sprints that I've done, it was back to back, but I may actually give some, what do you call it? Leeway, not leeway, but, like, some time in between so that I could kinda catch my breath in between the sprints, because it is a little bit of work on my part to, uh, to capture everybody's information and also make sure everybody gets, the necessary information, because I haven't still automated the process yet. Alright? Alright, so, um, I know most likely, I sent out an email to people, probably at the last moment, so you might be catching this on a replay. You're more than invited to our next sprint, which is, in, I'm not sure the exact date. Let me just check. It's, January the current sprint is gonna end next Friday, which is January 2nd, and the next sprint is starting up on January 5th, right? And will go on for not exactly 30 days, but it's gonna happen for the next 4 weeks. And so, um, it is within the Freedom Voice community, and I will talk a little bit more about what happens after the 30-day sprint, because I think after the 30-day sprint is really for you to get acclimated and activated because you have to build that habit, right? For for most of us, it's really, um, yeah, um, yeah. I could go on and on about, you know, how difficult it is especially in this day and age, there's so many information going on. There's so much information online, and I think that without guidance, right? Um, and at the end of the day, I think most people just needs a little guidance, right? Um, the way I look at it is, if you look at your kids, right? Um, I'm a parent with 3 kids. Um, I can't be there all the time, but as they grow up, I realize that you have to um, give them guidance because ultimately they will grow up to be, teenagers, and then they will become 18 and they are on their own, right? And they have to make decisions on their own. So ultimately, as somebody that's starting an agency, um, you have to be okay with letting them make mistakes, but ultimately get them on the right path as they go along. All right. So I hope that makes sense. So I will see you next Friday. Not sure if there's any, you know, um, chats, but um, yeah, that's about it. If you are interested in joining our week 3, I did send an invitation out. If you are, DM me. probably the best way to is to join the Freedom Voyage. My The week 3 sprint starts at 1 o'clock, and so it's about 11:30 now. So in about uh, 12, 1, in about an hour and a half is when I will have the Zoom meeting for the week 3 sprint. I'm opening it up to anybody that's interested in to sit in on our week 3 sprint Zoom meeting. Um, I will, if you put the comment on YouTube or if you direct message me on, probably the best way is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is probably where I spend a lot more time. Find me on LinkedIn and then DM me there, and I will send you the Zoom meeting link. If it's only for this time, right? But moving forward, it's probably best for you to join the Freedom Community and then um, join the Freedom, the sprint, right? Uh, but this time I just sent out an invitation to everybody in my email list. All right. So anyway, I'm going to stop rambling on. Thanks for watching and thanks for being here.